Hello and welcome back, Wednesday Webpage Builders. I'm Miss Blair, and this is our second to last lesson. Guys, I can't believe it. We've made it an entire semester. This is amazing. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. I will say that the very first lesson is posted. It was posted on September 2nd, and it goes over how to download Sublime Text, which is the text editor that we are using. Start there. All of our lessons up until today have dealt with HTML, but I didn't want to just limit us to HTML in this series. I decided that the last two lessons were actually going to work with JavaScript. So JavaScript is a language originally used to make web pages more interactive. It is now used to create online games that will run on both computers and mobile devices. So today we're going to code a very simple math quiz, and we're going to use it to kind of get to know JavaScript. And then next week we're going to dive in just a little deeper into JavaScript. That way you have both things. If you've been following me for coding camp and doing any of the scratch coding, or if you've done scratch coding in the past, I find that this feels like an advanced version of scratch coding. That's just me, maybe not you. But anyway, here we go. We're going to start this math quiz code. So we're going to open it up, and instead of doing our HTML code like we've been doing, we're going to open up a script. Okay, so JavaScript, hence the script. We enter down, and we're going to tab in, and we're going to type in answer equals prompt. All right, and then in parentheses, our prompt in double quotation marks is going to be what is 8 times 8? Question mark. Okay, and then after your in parentheses, you're going to have your semicolon. And so then we're going to do an if statement. So if the answer equals equal, so remember our code would be answer equal. So if it equals 64, and then we end our parentheses, then we have our fancy bracket. We have alert, so it's going to alert the player, the quiz taker, correct. So in quotation marks, correct. So it's in quotation marks, end parentheses, semicolon, end the fanciness. We're going to enter down backspace, and we're going to close our script. All right, so let's file. Save as. We've already done a quiz in this course, so we're going to do quiz2.html. We're still going to save it as an HTML, but we are writing in JavaScript now. So we are going to open it up like normal. On my computer, yes. So I'm going to allow blocked content because what's going to happen is this is a text box that's coming up. That's the interactive part. So it's blocking it right now. So I'm going to allow the blocked content, and it says, so here's our script prompt. What is 8 times 8? So I'm going to type in 64. I click OK, and correct. So that's kind of fun. I'm going to exit out and go back to our text editor. So in coding camp, we talk a lot about variables and if statements, but we haven't really talked about that much in web page builders. So really quickly, variables are part of a program that stores information. Each variable is given a name that is used to point to a part of the computer's memory. A value is then stored in that part of the memory. In this quiz that we're making today, variables are used to store the random numbers and the user's input. So now we're going to go in, because we don't want it to always just say 8 times 8, right? We want some randomness. A real quiz, you never know what's coming, right? So we're going to make some random variables. And we already have our if statements. So let's go over if statements. Normally, each line of code works one after the other. An if statement works differently. It checks if a particular condition, such as the correct answer, is true before running a certain piece of code. All right, so we've got our variables, we've got our if statements. we are going to make changes to the code that we have done to make it be randomized. So I'm going to go up to script and I'm going to press enter. And here I'm going to add some variables. So var is variable space a. And we're going to equals math.round. And then in parentheses, so that means it's going to round to the nearest number. And in parentheses, we're going to do math.random. And this means that the computer is going to create a random number between 0 and 1. And then we have an inner parentheses, tab over. You're going to do Shift 8 to get that little asterisk, which means times. We're going to do 10, so it's going to multiply it by 10. And we have our semicolon, so this means round it to the nearest whole number, create a random number between 0 and 1, and multiply it by 10. Okay, then variable b is going to be the same thing, math.round. So we want to do whole numbers math today, let's just say. And then we're going to do math.random because we also want this to be random. Adding in a parentheses. We want the same thing. We want it to be multiplied times 10. We need our semicolon. So A and B are the same thing, except it's variable A and variable B, because in our math we want one number times another number. Okay, so our answer prompt is going to stay the same, but what's inside this answer prompt is going to change. So we downloaded Sublime Text because it helps you out. This is telling me right now, your code is bad, it's bad, it's bad. Don't worry, that will go away. So what is... So we're going to do what is, and then we have another quote, and then we have plus a plus. Okay, then we have another quote. What is quotations plus a plus? Quotations plus b plus. So this is, we're using the plus sign to join the string what is to the value stored in the variable a. Okay, so we have plus a plus, quotations plus b plus, quotations, then we have a question mark and more quotations, but we only need one set of quotations. And then over here, okay, so I'm off a little somewhere. So we've got our quotations. What is, there should be quotations, plus a plus quotations. That's what I forgot. I forgot my times because we have to have a time. So it should be plus a plus in your quotations, then there's a times, and then there's another quotations, plus b plus, in quotations, question mark. So this is going to say what is variable a times variable b question mark. Okay, and then it's going to say if answer equals a times b, so we need to do a asterisk b, and then the alert correct stays the same and our script stays the same. So we will file save, and now we will try our quiz 2. So remember, you gotta allow the blocked content. So what is 6 times 6? It's 36. Okay, correct. What is 1 times 7? 7. Correct. So it is random now. 2 times 1, let's try 1. So nothing will pop up if it's wrong. So that's how we know that we got it wrong. All right, friends, very cool. So you can go in, play around with some math. Remember, this is JavaScript that we did today. And we've got one more lesson coming at you next week. It will also deal with JavaScript. We are going to be setting up random colors. So that's really exciting. I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to our last week together. Thank you so much for joining me today.